Breaking a habit can feel incredibly difficult. Many people decide to change something in their lives, yet they find themselves repeating the same behaviors again and again. Whether it is procrastination, unhealthy routines, emotional reactions, or destructive patterns, the experience is very common. The reason for this is not simply a lack of discipline or motivation. Modern neuroscience shows that habits are deeply wired into the structure of the brain. Over time, repeated behaviors form neural pathways that become stronger and more automatic. Once these pathways are established, the brain begins to execute those behaviors almost without conscious thought. To understand why habits are so powerful, we need to understand how the brain learns to automate behavior. When we repeat an action many times, the brain gradually shifts control of that behavior to a group of structures called the basal ganglia. The basal ganglia are responsible for storing routines that we perform frequently. This process allows the brain to conserve energy. Instead of actively thinking about every small action we perform each day, the brain stores common behaviors as automatic programs. This is why activities like driving a familiar route, brushing your teeth, or typing on a keyboard can happen almost automatically. But the same system that makes daily life easier also explains why bad habits are so difficult to break. When a behavior has been repeated many times, the neural circuit responsible for that behavior becomes stronger and more efficient. Each repetition reinforces the pathway, making the behavior easier to perform. The next time, eventually the habit becomes so automatic that it can be triggered by small cues in the environment or by emotional states. This process is often described as a habit loop. A habit loop usually contains three elements: a cue, a routine, and a reward. The cue is the trigger that starts the behavior. This could be a time of day, a place, a feeling, or a situation. The routine is the behavior itself. The reward is the positive sensation or relief the brain receives after completing the behavior. Over time, the brain learns to anticipate the reward whenever the cue appears. This anticipation strengthens the neural pathway even further. As a result, the behavior becomes increasingly automatic. This is why breaking a habit often feels like fighting against your own brain. Your brain is not trying to sabotage you. It is simply following the strongest neural pathway available. Fortunately, neuroscience has also revealed something very important about the brain. The brain is not fixed. It has the ability to change and reorganize itself throughout life. This ability is known as neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity allows neurons to form new connections and modify existing ones based on experience and repetition. Every time you learn something new or repeat a behavior, you are influencing the wiring of your brain. This means that even deeply ingrained habits can be changed over time. However, the process requires consistency and awareness. When you try to break a habit, the goal is not simply to eliminate a behavior. The goal is to weaken the old neural pathway while gradually strengthening a new one. At first, the old habit may still feel very strong. This happens because the neural circuit responsible for that behavior has been reinforced many times in the past. But each time you interrupt the old pattern and choose a different response, you begin to reduce the dominance of that circuit. At the same time, the brain starts building a new pathway for the alternative behavior. In the beginning, the new behavior requires effort and attention. The brain has not yet automated it, but with repetition, the new circuit becomes stronger. Eventually, the new behavior can also become automatic. This is how habits are truly changed, not through a single moment of motivation, but through repeated changes in behavior that reshape the brain over time. Research in neuroscience has shown that focused attention plays a critical role in this process. When you consciously observe your behavior and intentionally choose a different action, you activate higher brain regions such as the prefrontal cortex. The prefrontal cortex is responsible for decision-making, self-control, and conscious planning. By engaging this region of the brain, you temporarily interrupt the automatic habit loop stored in the basal ganglia. Over time, this repeated interruption weakens the old circuit and strengthens the new one. This process does not happen overnight. Neural pathways that were built through years of repetition cannot disappear instantly, but with enough consistent practice, the brain gradually reorganizes itself. The old habit becomes weaker, and the new behavior becomes easier. Many researchers describe this process with a simple phrase: neurons that fire together wire together. Each time a set of neurons activates together during a behavior, the connection between them becomes stronger. When the behavior is repeated many times, the pathway becomes deeply established. But the opposite is also true. When a neural pathway is no longer used frequently, its strength gradually decreases. This is why replacing a habit is often more effective than simply trying to eliminate it. Instead of focusing only on stopping a behavior, it is more powerful to create a new routine that fulfills a similar role. Over time, the new routine begins to take the place of the old one. This is one of the key insights of neuroplasticity. Change happens not by erasing the brain's wiring, but by reshaping it through new experiences and repeated choices. Every time you choose a new behavior, you are sending a signal to your brain. You are teaching it which neural pathways should become stronger. Although the process requires patience, the brain is remarkably adaptable. Throughout life, it continues to learn, reorganize, and form new connections. This means that no matter how long a habit has existed, change is always possible. Each small decision to act differently contributes to the gradual rewiring of the brain. Over time, these small changes accumulate into lasting transformation. Breaking a habit is not simply an act of willpower. It is a process of retraining the brain, and every time you repeat a healthier behavior, you are literally reshaping the neural circuits that guide your life.